Hello, welcome back to Communing Holy Spirit, where we talk about faith, hope, and most of all, love. Today, we'll be continuing to speak from our Godly Emotional Refinement resource, continuing to go over how envy has a plot. And in our Godly Emotional Refinement lesson today, we'll be going over the biblical figure of Cain and how Cain fell for envy's plot, how Cain wasn't able to witness the truth of God's grace upon Abel and learn from Abel, learned what God wanted. Instead, he needed to snuff out the light because he felt a deep inadequacy within himself. He felt a deep lack that he would never be able to measure up. But this lie that left room for envy to make a stronghold and to direct his movements led him into being accursed. And it wasn't the truth. The truth was that God was revealing the light through Abel, so that as Cain witnessed where he fell short and where he needed to be, it wasn't for him to sit in condemnation. It wasn't for him to get jealous. It was for him to cry out to God and ask God, hey, what do you want from me? Because God told him, if you do what is right, won't I bless you just the same? And that was the truth. But envy blurred and marred and perverted how he was looking at the light, and instead of calling to the light and looking for ways to come into agreement with it, he sought to snuff it out. He came into agreement with envy and sought to snuff out the light and truth of God that Abel was walking in. So one way that envy got a foothold in Cain's life was that when he was in a state of comparing and contrasting his offering to Abel's offering, it wasn't for good, it was for evil. And how it was evil was because he wasn't looking for the truth. He was looking for where he fell short. What would have made it good was looking at the offering and asking God, why did you accept this offering and not mine? Why was his pleasing to you and not mine? And with understanding that answer from God on what God actually really wanted from Cain, and Cain bringing that to him, he would have had peace. But he didn't seek out that good. Instead, he used the comparison contrast to sow evil, to sow further separation between him and his brother, between him and God. So God isn't rebuking us using comparison and contrasting. He's just saying when we go into comparison and contrasting, it is to gain the true knowledge and understanding from God's lessons. When he brings us through the Bible, he brings us through to certain people's stories where we learn from them, from their mistakes, or we learn from why God blessed them. But all of them are meant to bring us into good, not for us to fall into evil, which is condemnation, which is envy, which is jealousy, which is frustration. He wants us to see where we may fall short, or see where we're on track with his course for our lives, and then to come into further agreement, or to ask our questions on how we can come into more agreement with himself. Because when we align to God, we become blessed. When we align to what he wants us to do, when he wants us to do it, that agreement releases his power into our situations. It brings the light of favor upon us because it pleases him. And he wants people to know, hey, you are in this light because you've pleased me. You are being elevated. You are being blessed. You are being singled out with favor because you pleased me. You moved in a truth. You let me reflect my glory. You let me show people who I really am, and that pleased me. And that's what Abel did, and that's what Cain could have done if he didn't let envy and its plot take a hold of him over the words and counsel of God. So thank you so much for joining us today. God bless you. And if you'd like to know more about our Godly Emotional Refinement resource, you can check out the link below. Thank you so much for joining us, and stay tuned for our next Godly Emotional Refinement lesson. God bless.